The Anthem wagons have similar pull and push options as to the Veer. You can pull it while it is in the locked upright handlebar position. You can release the handlebar and pull it with the handlebar lowered down, or you can turn it around and do the push option. Right here you're going to see that I'm lowering down the handlebar to pull it in more of a traditional pull wagon style. You can also see that kids can pretty easily reach the tires, so if you have one that's going to get their fingers pinched, that's just something to consider. Thankfully, my little guy didn't get his pinched as we were out walking on this day. Now, the biggest differences between the 2 and the 4-seaters in the Anthem is that right now there is a car seat adapter available for the 2-seater. For the 4-seaters that are out currently, there is no car seat adapter. However, they are in the works with making a car seat adapter for the 4-seater, but it will not retrofit to the current model 4-seaters that are out because they're going to make some changes to the frame to allow it to attach. So that's just something to consider if you have a 4-seater and you want to get a car seat adapter out in the future. The only other significant difference is the size inside, the size of the wagon overall, and the size of the basket. So we'll give you some dimensions for that in a little bit. On many strollers, when you use a car seat adapter, you have the option to use the existing canopy on the stroller to give a little extra coverage to your car seat. Now, unfortunately, with these wagons, that is not an option. The canopy cannot be used at the same time as the car seat adapter, so you gotta make sure, if you're somewhere extra sunny, that you have a car seat that has enough coverage to cover your baby. The Anthem tires are pretty thick and very durable, so I would say that they really give a good push on this wagon, and they're very easy to go up curbs. Something to remember though is when you're going down curbs, if you are pulling it, you don't really have as much control with this handlebar style to bring it down without a big clunk. So you're going to want to be careful or just push it whenever you go down curbs. An additional measurement that I wanted to include in the video that I forgot to include in the comparison chart that will be at the end of the video is the height from the seat to the canopy. So I measured from the seat to the canopy where their head would be naturally if they were sitting in the wagon, and on the 2-seater the height is 19.5 inches, and on the 4-seater it's actually 21.5 inches. So on the 4-seater you get an additional 2 inches of clearance, and that is important if you plan to have older kids riding in your Anthem wagon. Now, when we went to use our 4-seater wagon after a few weeks of it sitting in the garage, for whatever reason, this back left big tire just wouldn't budge. My husband is pretty handy, but he tried everything he could, and there was a pin that was just not moving out of the way that is normally keeping the wheel in a brake mode. So we tried a few different things. We ended up going with like a DIY duct tape hack that got us halfway to the park. We had to stop and do it again, and it didn't work the second time. Oh, it's already making the sound again. We've only been walking for 30 seconds.
I think it'll last longer. I was wrong.
So then we just ended up going on 3 tires all the way to the park. Thankfully, I was able to get a hold of the customer service, and they were able to help me, so they're going to send me a replacement, and I'm going to send them back our wagon to see what in the world happened, because this was not an issue last time we used it. I'm really, really thankful that they're helping us out here, though, because as you guys know, these wagons aren't cheap, and they're usually made to last, so I'm glad that the company will at least make it right if something goes on with the wagon. Now, these canopies are something special, okay, because they give obviously great coverage if your kid fits under them, and you can zip them together in the center to make one enclosed space. So for, bugs and all that stuff, it really keeps a lot of things out and gives good coverage. Your kids might get annoyed if they can't see out the side, if one of them is up and one of them is down, but other than that, they're just fantastic canopies. This is kind of the scenario that I was describing where one canopy is up and one canopy is down because my oldest started complaining that he couldn't see over the front, so he couldn't see what was going on. But to be honest, there's no perfect canopy out there, and there's always going to be something that you have to sacrifice in order to get great coverage. So I think that these do a good job of compromising on that, as they do have those mesh panels on each side that give a little bit more visibility to the kids that are inside. And no, my husband did not break his ankle when he fell off that sidewalk. Something that I actually really like about these two models is that they are virtually the same. The only difference is, like I said, are the car seat adapters and the dimensions, but other than that, the basket attaches exactly the same. The harnesses are exactly the same. There's the same number of pockets inside. They come with the same accessories. It's all very it all works the same way. So it's not like if you get one or the other, you're at a big disadvantage for any reason. It's literally just like a size thing if you need a certain size, or if you need that car seat adapter for the current models. You're even going to have a car seat adapter option for the 4-seaters in the future. So I really like that they are very, very comparable, and it's very easy to tell what the differences are between them. And so I'm just giving you a visual here on the inside of each wagon. You can see that they each have the pockets. And on the chart later, you'll see specific dimensions. You'll see the different accessories that they each come with as well. And even down to the tires. The tires are exactly the same size. Handlebars are exactly the same height. It really is all very similar, which I think is beneficial. Something you will want to take note of here is that the footwells have a hard metal cage under them, and they don't have a zipper like I've seen on most wagons with a footwell, where you can unzip it just to shake out any debris or whatever that end up there with the feet. So you're going to have to get in there with a handheld vacuum, and don't make the mistake that my husband did of trying to whack the bottom of the footwell thinking that it's soft and it'll just like let the stuff fly out, because you'll just hurt your hand like he did. Another little something to consider is that with this style of pull wagon, if your kid is like mine and he thinks that the second he finishes a snack, his job is just to throw the trash straight out the side, you're not going to see that. So unless you got these eagle ears or whatever it is, these bat ears, and you could hear the trash hit the ground every time, or even if it's something of yours and he just thinks it's funny to throw it out, you can't see behind you. So something just to consider if you're at an amusement park or somewhere like that where these are, if they are allowed, you're going to have to keep an eye on that because it's very easy for them to chuck something out of the side and you won't notice. Also very easy to run over someone's foot. So if you are in a crowded area, take care with these. Maybe consider pushing just so you can keep a closer eye on what's going on in front of you versus having the mystery behind you as the kids get into trouble. This clip is just to give you a visual of the size differences between the baskets. The actual dimensions will be in the comparison chart at the end of the video. So just an accessory that we like to use on our Anthems is this phone holder. This actually comes from Pronto USA, but it's universal. As you can see, it has a Velcro strap here, and there's a little button on the back that you push that releases the phone, and you can bring it out, and then you put the phone back in, and then you just push these to close. So I like these on all my strollers, and that's why we just use them universally. This is just to give you a little idea of what it looks like when the car seat adapter is in place when the wagon is actually in use. Now, I will say I've never seen a car seat adapter that has the back bar so lifted and so up. I'm not an expert. I don't know if this was like level or whatever like that. It's a universal car seat adapter, so just keep that in mind. If you've never owned a wagon similar to this style, then you won't know that the handlebar does this kind of jiggle, and so when you go to push it or pull it, you may bother you. I have seen many parents buy a Veer or something and get really irritated, so I just wanted to include this. For the grass test, I was really impressed. I think most people refer to Veer kind of as the quality standard for this kind of a wagon, but whereas Veer has more industrial strength kind of materials, these tires on the Anthem are actually a little bit thicker. So that has a huge part to play in how well it's going to do on stuff like grass, stuff on sand especially. So I'm going to say this is actually quite nice, this pull. Even, this is the 4-seater, even the 4-seater with kids inside handled quite well. It's not easy. Your legs are going to get a little bit of a workout if you have it loaded up. You know, I mean, my kids are kind of on the big side. So especially if you have 4 kids in there, you're going to get a workout. Don't think it's just going to be like nothing. But I actually found pushing to be a little bit easier as long as you were on a straightaway. So try different things, see how you like it. But I think that this is actually going to handle quite well on different terrains. Now, if you look at the comparison chart at the end of the video, you'll notice that the 2 and the 4-seater are actually quite comparable as to the weight of the wagon. And I think that has a big part to play in how they feel on the grass, because they feel very similar. I mean, we had a lot of things loaded up in this 2-seater right now in this clip, along with the car seat and the baby, and I have to say they handled very similarly, even though the other is a 4-seater and it had 2 kids in it. So just something to note is that even though they have 2 more seats inside, they feel quite similar going over the grass. So I just wanted to point that out because I think most people would be surprised to hear that, and I was surprised to feel it. The items in bold on this comparison chart are differences between the two wagons. The items that are not in bold are the same. So you may want to pay particular attention to those things that are different so you can compare and see what is going to work best for your family. As we mentioned in our unboxing video, Gladly Family was kind enough to give us a subscriber code, SODA15, for 15% off of your wagon at checkout. It's not commission-based, it is just a savings that we're allowed to pass on to subscribers, so thank you for subscribing to our channel. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff, and drop a comment if there's a question that you have and we haven't answered it, or if there's another wagon that you'd like us to review. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.